Directorate of Public Relations of the Australian Army presents War Correspondent. Your name is Mike McCann. You're a war correspondent. For the people of this atomic time who know that peace belongs only to the prepared, you tell these stories of the Australian Army on active service. Your name is Mike McCann, war correspondent.
I'm Mike McCann. The Australian fighting man bears a reputation justly earned. But many of us forget that much of his success on the battlefield has been dependent upon the vast unseen organization that transports him to the scene of action, keeps him in the field, keep fighting. Perhaps of those background services, the most vital is the Australian Army Medical Service. It's the service the Australian fighting man is most appreciative of, and most thankful to have standing ready behind him as he goes into action. Right from the opening round of World War II, our medical services were a top-line efficiency, operating in the spirit of their fine tradition. Right from the first major battle, our Army Medical Service was standing ready, willing, and able to cope with any emergency. And during the course of the war, there were to be emergencies of many kinds. The first emergency, and it was a strange one, came with that opening battle, the Battle of Bardia, fought in early January in the Middle East. It was a testing time, a night attack on a narrow front, and the Australians wondering how they were to acquit themselves in the eyes of the watching world. On the eve of the battle, the diarist of the 16th Brigade AIF wrote, "Tonight is the night. By this time tomorrow, the fate of Bardia should be sealed. Everyone is happy, expectant, eager. Old-timers say the spirit is the same as in the last war. Each truckload was singing assembly point in the moonlight. All ranks carried a rum issue against the bleak morning. We passed the tanks against the skyline like a fleet of battle cruisers, pennants flying, infantry moving up all night, rugged, jesting, moon-etched against the darker background of no man's land. The battery major and party taped the start line, historic, for it is the start line of the Australian war. Somewhere in the darkness ahead waited more than 40,000 Italian soldiers, well equipped, waiting behind barbed wire in concrete line positions, waiting for the assault by the bayonets of the battalions of Australia's 6th Division. And not far behind the starting point of the Australians waited the 2nd 1st and 2nd 2nd Field Ambulance, with some components of the 2nd 7th Field Ambulance. What to expect when hostilities began. And so, in the darkness, they waited.
How you going there, Zambak?
We're okay, Digger. Got a stretcher here for you if you need it.
If a fella gets hit, you'll probably give him an aspirin and paint him purple with salicylic acid.
Going into battle and they're still whinging.
Keeping their spirits up, Corp. Well, how's the time?
A bit after 5 o'clock. They start moving at 5:30, just before dawn. And our turn comes.
Everything's teed up, is it, Corp?
Yep. As much as we can tee up, anyway. We've got our blood transfusion teams organized, and we're going to wait here on wheels until Bardia is captured. And we'll go in and open an operating center there.
Well, that's straightforward enough.
But we don't know how many casualties to expect. We're working on the basis of 1,000 casualties for treatment and evacuation. But if we get more...
Got any of that hospital brandy there, Zambak?
Might have some for you on the return trip, Digger.
Yeah, well, don't drink it all yourselves.
They're still moving up, Corp. They keep coming up looking like supermen in this moonlight.
They need to be supermen. Those infantry blokes are each carrying a mighty load. He's got his woolen uniform and leather jerkin, and he's got his greatcoat, steel helmet, respirator, 150 rounds of ammo, a couple of hand grenades, 3 days bully and biscuits, picks and shovels. A few of them have even got pullovers and scarves on. And some are wearing bags of sand against their legs as protection against shrap.
They'll never be able to raise their rifle to fire.
That's not what's worrying me, Don. I'm thinking we'll have to do to get at the wounds.
It's truth. It seems to me we're going to do a lot of cutting. These wire cutters and gloves they've issued to us to cut through barbed wire with. I never thought a field ambulance bloke would have to carry that stuff.
Stands to reason we might need it. The eye ties have got a whole lot of barbed wire run out there, in addition to the minefields, tank traps, concrete strong points, and anti-tank dish. We have to follow the boys in. And if our engineers only blow one passage through the wire, then we'll have to cut another. Mr. Young, the 2nd 1st Field Ambulance MO, went out on a recce for the other night. He went prowling around out there in front of the eye tie lines, looking to see how we can best get the wounded out from the battlefront. Somehow, Don, I've got the feeling this is going to be no soft cop.
How's the time?
Stop worrying about the time. You'll know it's 5:30 when the barrage opens up. Now, don't forget, if you see a rifle stuck in, then that's a sign there's walking wounded close handy. And don't forget, we put a reserve of 40 stretchers and 600 blankets inside the forward wire.
Now, don't fuss, Corp. You're making me nervous.
Make you nervous? What about me? They give a bloke 2 stripes and suddenly he's got more responsibility than General Blamey. Gosh. I've just taken my pulse rate.
Racing a bit, huh?
I can't find it.
No problem of diagnosis there. You're dead.
Can they go? Good luck, boy. See you in Berlin. Hear that? Bangalore torpedo, I'd say, blowing a hole through the barbed wire.
Hear that?
Yeah, I heard it. Sounds like we might have customers. Come on, pick up that stretcher and let's get going. Let's have a rest here, Don. Want to smoke?
Pick a nice, quiet place to rest, Corp.
What's wrong with it? Look at those tanks going in. The boys of the second following them with a bayonet. Cannons are going to be busy enough with them without worrying about us. Where are the boys, Don? Going in, singing in, cigarettes in their mouth. I think it was a training exercise.
Except for this flying lead.
We'll be right, you'll find. She's all under control, running smooth as clockwork. Did you get on to Captain Gunter and Captain Matthews supervising the collection of wounded up there at the aid post? Looked like Sunday morning ward inspection, except for the loose stuff lying about.
Didn't look much like Sunday morning to me. You saw those 2 stretcher bearers go down.
Yeah, sure. I do expect that, Don. This is playing it for keeps. But did you see the boys moving in against those icons? Made you feel proud of it. That Lieutenant Candelone, near where we picked those wounded sappers up. Down he went and 3 of his crew, just after they blew that wire. And there's the Louis, still directing operations, paying as much attention to his wounds as though a fly had kicked him. The eye-ties can't hold our fellas back.
No, that roadblock now. They moved that and they've opened the road into Bardia. They're copping it, though. Looks like we'll be needed. Come on, Corp. How's the time, Corp?
10:30.
Seems like we've been going 5 days instead of 5 hours. It doesn't look...
But the boys have pushed into the main fortress area. We're past the landmines and the barbed wire.
And now we head into the real stuff.
Yeah, that's what they said at the briefing. Now the eye-tie guns will be in concrete emplacements. See those firing over there?
I can see them firing everywhere.
Yeah, but over there, look, about 400 yards away. Behind that stone wall. They're going to be hard to dig out. Keep down. Right on us. Real snag, those guns. Well covered by that wall. The boys are going to have a try at them.
More work for us. Hey, that's old Mac leading him.
Old Mac? Old Mac who?
Old Ian McIntosh of the 2nd 1st Battalion. Sergeant McIntosh came from Tamworth. He was in the First War. He won't talk about it. I wouldn't like to check his enlistment age against his...
The way he's going, he's not going to live to a ripe old age.
Somebody told me he got a gong in the first one.
I'll to get another one here or a tombstone. Can you see him?
Now and then, through the dust. Him and the rest of his platoon. They're going fast under the cover of that dust. They're making good ground. Only about 50 yards to go. Oh, the Italians are onto them.
Keep your eye on them. You're going to need us a quick spark. Take some guts, Don. Gosh. He's racing right into that eye-tie fire and his blokes are sticking with him. Come on, you beauty! Another 10 yards!
Well, then there's that stone wall. I'll never make it. They can't make it. The guns are firing at them point blank.
But they've made the wall, Don. And over they go.
Well, they've taken that gun. Look, the I-Ty's left are turning it in. And Mac's opening fire on the other guns. The I-Ty's are returning the fire.
How the I-Ty's are going down. Look, another one over. And the Australians are making another charge. They're making for them with a bayonet. Come on, let's get up there.
Slow down, Corp. The I-Ty's have tossed it in.
White flags. Yeah, they must carry white flags in their field equipment. Oh, are they?
There's a whole lot of them coming out with their hands up, Corp.
And a mighty lot who aren't on their feet. What do you see, Don?
3 field guns. An anti-tank gun over there. A dozen machine guns. And I'd say about 100 I-Ty prisoners.
No. I mean, on the ground.
Well, they took a bashing, Corp. There'd be at least 50 or so down. A lot of them look as though they've bought it. Yeah, we'll be needed here.
More for the Italians than their own blokes. A few of our blokes have copped it. What's this going on?
It's an Italian officer, Corp. What's he talking to old Mac about?
He's got plenty to say by the way he's waving his arms about. Maybe we'll just get to work on these wounded boys and see what's what. Put the stretcher down. That I-Ty officer's coming across here. He's heading for us. What's he waving about?
I am officer, medical doctor.
All right, cover. Don't get excited. You're a medical officer. So what? Stretcher bearers. What do you want?
Nearby is a built Italiano. What do you say? Hospice for wounded soldiers.
He's got an Italian field hospital close handy, Corp.
All right, I speak the lingo too. I catch on. You want Italiano wounded to take there, eh?
Italiano, ospedali, all wounded. They're all sick men. All sick. What do you say? More better treated.
Sounds okay to me. You officer, you Italiano soldiers carry Italiano wounded and Australia wounded. Looks like Sergeant McIntosh has organized the other Italians. They're going back to our lines under escort.
You better give a hand here, I suppose, Corp. Never thought we'd be working for both sides, eh?
That's the way it happens sometimes, Don. So long as the bloke's wounded, doesn't matter which side he's on. He gets the best from the med...
That was to be the tradition of the Australian Army Medical Services in World War II, as it had been in wars previous and in action since. The enemy was given treatment for his wounded wherever possible. Wounds were dressed regardless of nationality. And so, in the first major action of World War II, the Australian Medical Services ran against the unpredictable. Where it had been believed only about 28,000 Italians faced the 6th Division, within the fortress of Bardia it was subsequently discovered the number was in excess of 40,000. And the prisoners came pouring back, hands raised, white flags flying, until there were thousands of them sitting dejectedly behind the Australians' advancing forward line. The problem of prisoner of war security was not a great one, because only 1 or 2 Australians armed with rifle and bayonet were necessary to keep many surrendered Italians under guard. But the problem of medical care for the increasing number of friendly and enemy wounded was a major one. And so it was that, while the Battle of Bardia raged, Italian medical officers tended their own wounded in our advanced dressing stations, working alongside our own medical men. While in Italian dressing stations, Australian and Italian wounded received treatment side by side.
Some of our blokes could be lying out there, Don. I can't see anything for dust.
They should have issued us with field compasses.
That's not such a silly idea either. I've seen some of the platoon commanders going through reading the compass to see where they were. Who's that passing us now?
Doesn't sound like our blokes. No singing. Probably more I-Ty prisoners.
I wonder how many thousands we've got now. They're just turning it up left, right, and center. Don't even need any guards to escort them back. Queer old army, eh?
Yeah, full of grit. Bardia grit. 3 parts dust and 1 is sand.
Well, just so long as they keep the casualties down, we can't be worried. We better get moving. There's machine gun fire up front there somewhere, and that means a stretcher bearer is going to be needed. Come on.
Sure. Oh, I should have been lugging this stretcher all my life. How long's this attack been going on now, Corp? It's not just the second day. Fair dinkum, is it?
That's all done, and plenty more to go, I'd say. Anyway, the work's been lighter than we expected. And we got those dozen blokes from the Royal Army Medical Corps who came up here from the True under their own steam to give us a hand. They're well-trained orderlies. They'll be mighty useful. Then we've got those 9 or 10 30-hundredweight trucks prowling around out here looking for wounded. They're saving us plenty of work.
Sure. Now, what about forgetting counting our blessings and see if you can work out just where we are?
I know one thing. We're heading the right way. While they keep the machine gunning going up there, we'll know where the front is. Hey! What unit are you fellas?
Second first. Climb aboard. For express delivery. Bound straight for Rome.
I wouldn't doubt that either, Don. Look at the way they're stepping it out.
Yeah, route march drill. Rifles slung over the shoulder. No war here.
You should know better than to jinx us. Where's that firing coming from?
Can't see through the dust. But I can see a platoon of our blokes have gone around across there. Yeah, they're onto them. See now?
Yeah, I see. It's coming from where those Italians are coming out now, waving the white flag. Come on, let's get up.
Oh, wait on. She's not finished yet. Look, there's more Italians than that singer. And our blokes are going for it. Oh, look at that young lieutenant race ahead with a revolver in each hand.
That's Lieutenant Murchison. He's a Newcastle bloke. Hey, he's copped it. Oh, no, a bullet knocked one of the revolvers out of his hands. He's keeping on waving the other one, and his blokes are with him.
They won't make it, Corp. Those Italians are well dug in behind that wall.
He'll make it. Look at him go. Hell's bells, did you see him? He jumped up onto that wall and dived down in among the Itais. There go his blokes after him, bayonets out.
I can't see how they're going. They're raising too much dust.
And dust's not the only thing they're raising. Look at those Italians coming out with their hands up. Oh, that was an act and a half put on by Mr. Murchison. Come on. Whether we're fighting hand-to-hand over there, I'd say they could need a stretcher bearer.
There's their form, Corp. 4 days we've battled on here, handling wounded. And now they want us to be ready to move to Tobruk at short notice.
That's the way it goes in war, Don.
Yeah, but each morning we've had the dressing station full of wounded. If we had 12 ambulances instead of 8, we might be able to cope with the flow. And in addition, there's about 20,000 prisoners taken, and plenty of wounded among them. And on top of this, they want us to be ready to move to Tobruk. I tell you, it's just...
Look, you're blowing your top over north, Don. So they warn us. So they warn us about something every day. But what finally happens? Something entirely different. You and me, we'll just plug along doing our job in the field ambulance and let the brass worry about the big deals. We got enough neurosis cases on our hands without having you collapse under the strain of running the war.
Very, very considerate, Corporal. I'll see you get an MID for thoughtful consideration of your subordinates while in action. I'll tell you something, I'll be pleased when this Bardier falls.
I'll tell you someone who'll be even more pleased.
I'll bite.
Those Itai prisoners. The way things are, we can't give them much private ward treatment. A couple of them yesterday were giving me the old song and dance routine about they wished Bardier would fall so that they could go into the hospital set up in there.
They like it soft. Did you see the silk sheets, perfumes, fancy notepaper and all that stuff in some of those dugouts?
Yeah, real fancy stuff.
And those Itai officers coming back with their shoes bright and shiny. Uniforms like fancy dress and their backmen carrying their suitcases. No wonder they pack it in easy. Particularly when you see our blokes. Fellas like Colonel Ether walking around in his leather jerkin, calm as you like, under fire, pointing out what he wants with his walking stick. You could see those Itai officers go past looking at him as though he delivered the garbage.
That's about what he was doing, too. Delivering a whole load of high-explosive garbage right into the Itai lines. But the Itai medical officers haven't been doing a bad job. They've been some help. Here comes Jacko in a hurry. I'll bet that the Brooks moves off again.
On again, off again.
Well, that's the way it goes. We've got to expect some switching around. Those blokes in the southern sector are copping it now, particularly the 2nd 5th Battalion. We just go the way the tide runs.
That tide must be just about run out by now, Corp. Look at all those white flags flying ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them at once.
Sure, but this is only one part of the perimeter, Don. This is the northern section. But she certainly looks like the rot has set in. We better follow on with these boys of the 2nd 3rd. They seem to know where they're going. What's that post ahead? That green sort of settlement affair. Batch of tents by the look of it. Red Cross on it, eh? Probably an Itai field hospital. Come on, we'll go across and have a closer look-see at this.
It's an Itai hospital, all right. A tent hospital. A big one, too.
A lot of Italians coming out. They're not wounded, not by a long chalk. They're in field kit.
But they've thrown their arms away. Well, there's thousands of them, Corp. Looks like they've taken refuge in this hospital.
Well, they shouldn't. Stand aside, you Italiano. Go on, scat. They're too frightened to get out of their own way. Take a look over there, will you? Dead. What a way to run a hospital.
35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. More than 40 unburied dead there, Corp.
And a whole lot more wounded. Isn't it a shambles? Rough check, I'd say they got more than 500 patients in this hospital, Don. Looks like the Itai medical service has simply collapsed under the strain. Hey, here comes an Aussie. Hey there! What are you doing here, mate?
Corporal from the cavalry. Got some mates with him, too.
You blokes from field ambulance, huh?
Yeah, we came in behind the 2nd, 3rd Battalion.
Well, you're welcome. Yeah, a few of us have been here since last night, and she's been a tasty show, I can tell you. Wounded blokes dying. Itai's too frightened to go out of the hospital to get supplies.
Uh-huh. What are you fellas doing here?
We stayed behind with Major Arthur, a Victorian bloke with the 2nd Field Regiment. Copped a couple of grenades in the legs yesterday up in an observation post. Our boys brought him here and they left me to look after him. I speak a bit of the Itai lingo.
How is the Major?
He's still got his 2 feet, but he's not too good. A couple of Itai surgeons who want to get a bit of practice in have been trying to persuade us to let them amputate his legs. But up to date, we've held him off.
What about now? Is he safe?
Well, we reckon so. A regimental medical officer from the 2nd Field Regiment, Captain Repshogi, is standing guard, threatening to do the Itais if they go near the Major. Now we're just waiting around for some of you blokes to turn up. We sent for them. Thought you were them when we first saw you.
We're only stretcher bearers. You'll be waiting for some of our officers. And here they come. Here's Colonel Disher with 3 other officers.
Well, I'm glad to see them, I can tell you that. In fact, you can make a note that I'm always glad to see you blokes from the medical outfits.
And that applies in the Army today. Major Arthur was glad to see those Australian doctors, and they had him transported to the Australian main dressing hospital, where he was later operated upon without any radical measures being necessary. Eventually, Major Arthur was promoted to brigadier. In that historic action which resulted in the capture of Bardia, the Australian Medical Service underwent its baptism of fire, and, like the 6th Division men it supported, acquitted itself well. There were unexpected problems to be met, and they were overcome, as other problems were met and overcome in the course of the Second World War and the war in Korea. But nowhere, in any action, did any medical service of any army give more faithful support to its own and to the wounded enemy than the men of the Australian Army Medical Corps at that first battle of Bardia.
War Correspondent, recorded by Robert Peach Productions, is presented for your entertainment by the Australian Army's Directorate of Public Relations.